Yes, hope you're well. Today we're going to open this box of Tribbles. So a large part of this set comes from the episode by the same, or the episode with this name, and also the episode that Deep Space Nine did with the homage, which is Tribbles and Tribulations. Both have a great deal of material, and this is the set where you get the TOS bridge crew, and then of course there are a number of Deep Space Nine characters who also have cards in this set. Some of them, like Odo and Worf, are represented in non-allied formats. So that you can mix those with all kinds of different decks. So these also have Tribble cards, which is actually also a sub-game that Decipher had. And those are as they are. Alright. So this is Live Long and Prosper, this is for First Contact, actually. Then we have Incident, Panel Overload, Danner Dog, who's a Packlid, Romulan Bajoran, Starship Constitution, a Tribble, and Chula the Drink, and then Valar, Packlid Ship, the Mundar, Thopok, who's Lady Gurkha's drive. And yeah. So that's our first pack. So the drink, which is the dilemma, and that was the actual rare. So get on to pack 2 here. Underdog, a Metalox, Cred, the lineup, the Oregon Peace Treaty. So this is the original Federation Klingon one. So that instead of the regular treaty, which allows all, this only allows the original series with the icon there. And then this is Temporal Investigations. Surgical Attack. And then Resistance is Futile, which is an incident in First Contact. This is our rare. Again, it's an incident, so it's not where I wanted it to be. Here's the Olar again. 10 Tribbles with Quark. And the infamous Sherman's Peak, which is a location card. A time location card, actually, I think. One thing to note when you... a number of these expansions add a certain extra layers of complexity to the game, and it was not the most streamlined game to begin with. So it's an interesting side effect of putting new stuff and new characterizations and stuff together. Sorry. Emmet, Valon, Mordok, Cred, and then we also have the trouble cards, which are, this many card or this card. If you have this card or the triple bomb, you can then place it on this facility. But that allows for a complexity of issues. Scan cycle check. So this was originally this was the gap they used to decloak and beam and then recloak. So this gap in the sensors was the Defiance system. Then we have Army Davin, which is our rare. This is our Klingon Saboteur. He also has some unique icons of, obviously, the toss icon. He also has the alternate universe icon, which means he's usually of a different time. The staffing icon for staff, and then he is a Federation infiltration. And there's some very interesting rules about infiltrators, which can function on the other side, like your opponent's side. And then there's agricultural assessment, which is Sherman's Planet. 100 tribbles. And the tactics card, chain action pulsar. Tactics cards were introduced in Blaze of Glory, which is either the set just before this or like one set before that. And they were another way of doing combat. So a tactic was basically a subdeck that you had, and then you did damage as per that subdeck. Otherwise, you used the standard damage of 50%, 100%, depending on what your thing is. So here's a classic communicator. As you can see here, it allows one of your TOS personnel present to add a skill from one of your other TOS personnel. The same thing. This particular skill type actually got so bad that they banned it. At one point, I would have to double check to see if it was banned again, or still banned, but I'd have to look at that. But yeah, it was a very powerful ability. On a common. So Q gets the point. This is where he gets forked, which is actually a different card, but this is just actually the aftermath of him getting forked. Here's the 62 rule of acquisition. Riskier road, the greater profit. Tribble. They're everywhere. Suicidal attack on the station. Lamb, which is a Breen character, though Dominion faction. And then we get the IKS or IKC Garth. It's a battlecruiser that is commanded by Kolth. Or Kolth. Dispatched to K7 to investigate the Sherman planet. Sorry. This is the Bachnor. It's an old freighter. More triples. And a classic tricorder. So, when we were opening the set, the Mirror set, we noticed that there were several references by the Mirror characters to some of those classic items, and this is where that set comes from. So those were in those. So see what we're getting here. Okay. So we see Donner Dog, Tree Romulan Bajoran, Yint, Janak, Breen, Deceptor Burst, Doorway. In this case, this is a storage doorway, so your Tribble deck. This is the card that you actually seed so that you can play Tribbles during the side deck. So it allows you to do a number of things, and then allows you to do another, or then can be in deck, and then allow you to do various things. Suicidal attack. And this is 10,000 Tribbles, which is a rare. Then we have a Thoth Pran here, which is a card, and then Tumek, which is a longtime advisor to Gurkha. Actually, there's a whole bunch of Lady Gurkha's staff that are in this set, even though we won't get, or we don't. It's Rules Acquisition, I think, that has Gurkha and Quark, Son of Kailar, which is the Klingon affiliated Quark, and then a VR headset, which is the primary way Vorta see and function, because they don't have, on Dominion ships, you don't actually have view screens. You have a First and a Vorta, supervising Vorta, and they get VR sets, and everybody else just functions based on whatever their sensor outlog is, and that it's very quirky when you sit down and think about it. Live long and prosper again. Devol, Amet Lux, Treaty by Bajoran, Romulan Bajoran, Trouble in Station, Lamb, Temporal Investigations, Lieutenant Bailey, Koroks. This is the famous Klingon that insults the Enterprise and triggers the fight by telling Scotty that the USS Enterprise should be hauled away as garbage, and things happen. This is the Bajoran Shrine, which is the actual, which is a location card on the Promenade. Deep Space Nine introduced these location cards for the Norse. This one is a Deep Space Nine only one. And then we have an uncommon 1,000 Tribbles. So, I am not personally a big fan of the Tribble deck. As a side thing, I've never really played the game that is the standalone game. I definitely have enough Tribble cards. I bought enough of this set actually really to do it. So we have a Yint, Panel Overload, Bajoran Phaser Banks, Lieutenant Grant, another storage compartment door, Oregon Peace Treaty, a Cardassian Bajoran Peace Treaty, and then a Dominion battleship, which is a rare, despite the fact that it is it's not a named ship. Although you can see it is quite potent with 10 range, 11 weapons, and shields 12. Classic medical tricorder, 100 Tribbles, and obedience brings victory. So, yep. there's that. So here's a Columbus-style shuttlecraft. This is the default shuttlecraft of the toss time period. Duval Q gets the point. 16 of 13. This is a Borg. When we open the Borg box, we'll really hit those Borg up pretty good. So we're gonna get there. Cycle scan check in the transporters. The way home. And Dahmer here. So this temporal investigation agent is the rare here. So, and then we have defend homeworld objective. 10 tribbles with Scotty here, and then another thought pen Paran. So that's that. Yeah. So here's Columbus again. Duval. Q gets the point. 6 of 13. Assignment personnel. So what this is one of those really interesting cards. So seeds are placed on table. Your support personnel, those with exactly 2 skills but no special skills, may report on your compatible ships for 2 or more with 2 or more staffing icons. Once a turn, you may discard objective to download support personnel. Or to your matching ship that has 2 or more staffing, or your facility. So your outpost usually. But it also allows you to do it to a station. Another storage compartment, doorway. A classic Type 2 phaser. And we have a Mr. Spock. All right, so here's our very beefy Mr. Spock. So as you can see, he's double science because his qualification is science, but he also has science as one of his skills, so that's science 2. He's also got a computer skill, exobiology, music. He also counts as an officer, which is a type skill again. He has mind meld times 2, which I don't think anything in the game it requires. And you can download Nerve Pinch. And he has the additional ability on top of all of that. If he is with Captain Kirk, that both have attributes +2. Now, noting that Spock's integrity is 8, cunning is 10, and strength is 9. Adding 2 to all of those is significant. And to be honest, Kirk is not a slouch, so I'll be honest, that's that. 100 tribbles. This is the Tribble Bomb, which is an incident, and then there's a 10 tribble card. So, yeah. Yeah. So opening up this next pack here. It's interesting. It's an interesting set. It's very. I don't think I don't think it captures the playfulness of the actual Deep Space Nine episode as well, but it does give us at least the original bridge crew of the original series, that kind of thing. So that was Classic Communicator. This is the lineup. This Q gets the point. This is Bajoran phases. This is the storage compartment. Here's the tree between Cardassian Sure, the way home. And a second Chula the drink. Defend homeworld. Homefront. And Arnitz Barris. Kind of thing. So, yeah. And he has the sort of quirky ability to have law or diplomacy, depending on what you need. And that can be changed at like any time. So there aren't a lot of dilemmas that use law or diplomacy, but I'm sure there must be one or two. In which case you'd be able to sit there and go, I'm going to start this mission. It requires law. Oh, I'm going to solve it. And then if you ran into a dilemma that you needed diplomacy, you could immediately switch to diplomacy and then switch back when you needed the law at the end. Or at least that's my way of interpreting it. I mean, I could look at the revised rules, but Genlock, panel overload, a Tribble, temporal investigations, a brain disruptor burst, a storage compartment door, another 10,000 Tribbles, so this is our rare. And Nihilus is here again. Obedience brings victory. And 10 Tribbles there with Scotty. Always loved that picture of Scotty with like, they're in all the food processors, Captain. Well, how did they get there? Through the air vents. There are vents like that on K7. Which is a card in this set, so hopefully we'll see K7. Okay, mixed things of whether I want to see K7 myself. I'm sure for the audience here, though, seeing K7 would be kind of cool. So, Mordok, Subspace Transporter, Genlock, Bajoran Phaser Ranks, a Tribble. This is a Tribble where they're in the engine room, and this is a wider shot of that Scotty thing where they're having that conversation. It's a Brain Disruptor. And our rare is the Orb of Time. Now, the Orb of Time is exactly what causes the Deep Space Nine episode there with that thing. And, of course, it has a little bit of printer error. You can see some dots here of the ink not staying. Anyways, then we get Obedience brings victory, classical tricorder, and then cue the referee, which is a referee cards are a subset of cards that are based on countering very strong degenerative deck types. When Decipher was manning the rules, they were trying to create a way of, I don't want to create a thing where we're outright banning cards. That was Decipher never wanted to ban cards. Continuing Community, which is the organization that does the current rule sets, which is a fan-based organization, has in various formats banned cards. Subspace Transporter, Classical Communicator, one of those banned cards. 62 Rule of Acquisition. Lineup. Oops. Lamb. Suicidal Attack. And here we have Lieutenant Dax. Definitely not something we don't want to see. It's a nice card. So as Dax is actually native to the normal timeline, while Dax has the staffing icon of the original series, she requires no alternate universe card to be in play for her to be in play. So you can... Now, granted, all of the TOS ships also have the alternate universe card, so you'd still have to play it for that. Or do the setup for that. But you can ignore it entirely and have a Lieutenant Dax in your regular deck because you like the card, and archaeology, astrophysics, and anthropology is not bad. Her download without having alternate universe is a little much because that is a thing. Here's a a agricultural assessment. Then we get a Sashres, which is Minister Shakar's aide. And it allows to download that Shakar. Here's Lieutenant Wally, who was the scientist that was making eyes with Bashir. And they have that very funny conversation about Bashir not knowing who his grandmother is, kind of thing. Therefore, having that kind of thing where it's like it's a predestination paradox. And then there's the whole conversation with O'Brien that makes that the deep dive of hi, I know lots about Star Trek is O'Brien didn't take a course in temporal mechanics because he did not take a 4-year academy course because he's an enlisted personnel. So temporal mechanics is probably not something he was actually taught. In fact, there's another episode that I can't remember where O'Brien sits there and says, hi, I wasn't even in engineering until things went to pot. And I had to fix something or we are all going to die. So, and that's when he got into engineering. So, Murdoch, subspace transporter, which is just, all this does is let you play on ship, and it allows you to beam treachery personnel to and from anywhere in the same or adjacent location. So it allows you to basically the biggest help it does is give you that adjacent location so that you can travel, your allotment of your range and then beam to the planet on the other side in a deck of, let's say, Romulans. Although Genog doesn't have treachery, but in a deck of Romulans or some constructions of Ferengi, you can do it so you do a lot. Here's the sign support personnel, doorway, classic Type 2 phaser. And speaking of Ensign of O'Brien, he gets a bit of a promotion this episode because he becomes Ensign O'Brien. All right, and like we mentioned with Dax here, has the ability to do this, skills, things, download as a communicator. O'Brien is a very powerful, or a reasonably powerful card. Tulmak, Kalina, which is the Romulan from the Dominion base we visit with Worf and Garrick. It is a quite the thing. I for some reason have like boatloads of her in comparison to other uncommons in the set. So Triple Bomb. I know we've only seen her once in this box, but this is not the only box of this I've opened. So I have a surprising amount of her, and I don't really know why. So we're approaching halfway. All right, so Murdoch, Kired, Live Long and Prosper, Panel Overlord, assigned support personnel in the engine room, temporal investigations, and 100,000 troubles. Which is a rare. Which Never impressed me. Bajoran Raider, Palucoid, which are spider-like things, and Hero of the Empire. So this is a mock-up of what his statue of heroes in the Hall of Heroes would be like. That's part of the conversation he has with Worf when he gets captured, because he's already planted the Tribble bomb, or the Tribble with a bomb in it. All right, so live long and prosper. Lieutenant Grant, Columbus, 6 of 13. Oops. In the engine room trouble. Starship Constitution. And then here's the Council of Warriors, which is also a rare. And this is one of the Klingon councils during the Dominion War. Kalina, who we hadn't seen, but we're now seeing again. Lieutenant Nagata. This lieutenant has an ensign talks to O'Brien, and then we have a Q-type android, which is a Q card, which largely you only get in the Q Continuum set, but there are a smattering of them through some of the other sets as well. It's just a different card type. It has its own doorway, which is called Q Flash, and it's just it's basically just a Q themed subdeck. It allows you to do a bunch of actions that are basically interrupts or events or dilemmas, but they're all Q based, and I don't know if they're actually more powerful. They certainly are different, though. So, I met treaty between Ronas and Bajorans on the bridge trouble. Yint, the way home, assigned support personnel, in the engine room trouble, and a Brunt shuttle. So this is our rare here. So this is most famously used to rescue Mugi, or Ishka, but Mugi in Impact Nor, which is a magnificent Ferengi. Then we have Looking for Things, which is a Pollock card. Again, we have this Q-type android. And then the Obelisk of Masaka from the episode Masks. Which, to be perfectly honest, basically has a very inner light feel to it. It's the same kind of thing of a culture putting out a thing so people can experience other cultures. Bajoran Phaserbanks, Lieutenant Grant, Subspace Transporter, Cred, Lamb, Starship, Cycle Check, 3 of 5. This is our rare, so this is a rare Borg. It's a unique Borg, too. Most Borg are not unique. In fact, the amount of unique Borg are... Well, there's this 5. So this is Hugh, actually. There's this... So there's 3 of 5, which is Hugh. I think there might be a Hugh card. There are the companion cards, which is Locutus, but also the enhanced had a number of companions. There was Ducat of Cardassia, Burrell of Bajor, Galron of the Klingon Empire, or Klingon, or something like that, with the same naming pattern. And that was enhanced First Contact. Because there was regular First Contact, and then they put out an enhanced version, which basically it had a special card and I think 3 or 4 packs in a little box. It came in a set of 6. So if you bought a box of it, you ended up with a set. Obelix. And they did the same for Premier. Burial Ground. And here's Lieutenant D'Amato. Who is this? So you remember that's assigned support personnel. I'd have to double check. I don't know if your _2 actually counts as 2 skills in the context of that particular or in that particular card. There may, to my knowledge, there's probably only maybe 2 or 3 cards in the entire collection that would affect. So it might be ruled either way, because it is one of those things that really is a minor quibble. All right, so the Lieutenant Grant lineup: Murdoch, Columbus, On the Station, Tribble, Tree, Cardassian, Bajoran, Nigto, which is rare. This is Kor's. This is the ship that Kor dies on. The R set, Q-type android, and then our Lieutenant Nagata. So, I don't even know if in the episode he has a name, because I think his interaction is almost purely him questioning O'Brien and Bashir. So, Bajoran Phaserbanks, Lieutenant Grant, Subspace Porter, Kared, 1 Tribble. In the engine room, Breen Disruptor, and Marine Ship. This is the rare here. It is a Dominion ship because of the Alliance. And there's a Burial Ground. And then we get a Karis, which is the mining rights. And our infamous Koroks, who gets our fight started. Yeah. So, got a number of packs. I think we're sort of getting to the point of 3/5 done. And I know this is going to be a little longer video than the mirror one, because I know that was yeah, when we were at this time in the mirror one, we were like 6 packs out or something, 3 packs out. People we've seen a million times. I haven't seen him a lot, but he is a common. And there's a Constitution, and our Tribble, and The Way Home, and K7. So K7 is a station here. It has X number of shields, whichever it is, 16. Alternate universe, that kind of thing. So you can... so you play it on the 2267 Sheldon's Planet. May be used by all players, compatible cards. Once per turn, you can have somebody report for free. And that's its big advantage, is that report for free. Like I said, I've said in a couple of videos, I'll go and do a bit of a rundown at some point, but I haven't quite got to that. So Thapok and a classic chart recorder. So look forward to that. Probably it'll be a series where I'll go over the cards themselves, of like, this is what these icons mean, this is what this means, this is what these text boxes are, this is why this, this name is bolded and this name isn't bolded, that kind of thing. There are a number of little things about that. Rule 62. Line up. Yint. Panel overload. Brain outburst. Assign support personnel here. The way home. And make it so, which is an incident. That's also a rare. First contact. So we got Reginoid, who is the Packlid engineer. Lieutenant Wally. And Chain Reaction Pulsar. Which is actually from the Star Trek Armada game. So Armada had a couple of cards. Had a ship and a couple other tie-in cards. A couple of the video games have tie-in cards. There was a full motion video thing for the Klingons that was actually shot on the Next Generation set, for example. And that actually has the gentleman who played Gowron playing that villain as it is. I never played the game, so I'd have to go find a synopsis of what it's like. So we have Yint, Janok, Live Long and Prosper, Deval, Oops, Starship, Tribble. Why did that end up there? Sorry, I accidentally put something in the Tribble set. And then here's 10,000 Tribbles, which is a rare. Again, not super happy with seeing rares of Tribbles, but I mean, that's how they built the set. So, Caress, Bajoran Raider, and 100 Tribbles. So, yeah. Especially considering the fact there are 6 Tribble rares. There's 3 10,000s and then 3 100,000s. At least I hope that's right. So here's another Trouble on the bridge. 62 Rule of Acquisition. Deval. Tree Romulan Bajoran. Class 2 Phaser. On the station Trouble. Oregon thing. And here we have Lieutenant Uhura. So she's obviously original bridge crew, so that's nice. She has 5 skills, and she can also download Hail, which is the base card from the thing. We have Reginoid, 100 Tribbles, and a Thulpak. Yeah. So I don't remember what Hail does, but Uhura quite logically can download it because she is the communications officer. '62 Rule, Lineup, Yint, Panel Overlord, Lamb, Starship Constitution, Cycle, Scan Cycle Check, Brain Ship, which is also a rare, Hero of the Empire, Chain Reaction Pulsar, and Homefront. So it is a lot annoying to get multiple rares of the same rare in a box. Obviously, it's extra disappointing when somebody keeps giving you, triple rares or incident rares or dilemma rares. Fortunately, in this set, there are no mission rares, but that's because this is also an incredibly light mission set. Tender Dog, Bridge, 6 of 13, Ellen, Temporal Investigation, Transporters, Type 2 Phasers, and our Wharf. So it's a 24th century Klingon disguised as a traitor. Brought back in time by Barry Waddle, which is the name that the agent was using. Will not discuss why the Klingons do not have four head ridges. Which they did actually answer in Enterprise. Actually, the weird thing about Enterprise is that the Enterprise answer was basically based on some fan fiction that had been written. So that's 1,000 turtles. And then this is Liam Bidley, who's an Orion Syndicate member. You meet him in that episode where O'Brien gets to experience a 30-year sentence. It's imported into his mind, kind of thing. It's been a while since I've seen the episode, so I can't really elaborate on the hows and whys of that. But it's definitely one of those very weird, esoteric episodes. MX, Kared, line up on the bridge. On the way home, assigned support personnel in the engine room. Yeah, and here's Uhura in the 100,000 Tribbles. There. And of course that card is chopped to have the effect. So here's 10 Tribbles. The Tribble Bomb again. And then Lieutenant Nagagata. So, yeah, not a big fan of finding that. So we're down to 3 packs. So this will have a little more runtime than the Mirror one. Hope that means that I've been more entertaining or told more stuff, so maybe you get knowledge out of it. Certainly, this is, whatever this is. Rule 62, thingy, Demog, Trouble, The Way Home, Lamb, Ship, and a second Spock. So here, I don't necessarily mind so much that I'm getting a second Spock. I mean, that's a pretty good card. Obviously, though, I'd prefer something else. Here's Barak, who is the officer, complete the last legate in the Dominion Cardassian. And he's basically yes man, and nobody listens to him. And another Liam, and an agricultural assessment. So, yeah. Well abused. Alright. So that's a Live Long and Prosper, Panel Overlord, Denderdog, Tree, Romulan Bajoran, Trouble, dun dun dun. Scan cycle check, chain reaction, ricochet. That's the rare. Damn it. Here's B.G. Robertson. So she was B-roll from The Outrageous Okinawa. A classic tricorder, and Q the referee. Yeah, no, that's that. Yeah. Yeah. So last pack. Alright, so we have Subspace Transport, Kared, Mordok, Subspace Transport, Brain Disruptor Burst, Assigned Personnel, and Wayoon's Warship is the rare. Then we have a Q Referee, 10 Tribbles, and the Bajoran Shrine. So, that's that. That's that box. Not a super exciting box. I mean, it was nice to get the Lieutenant Dax. It's nice to get the Ensign O'Brien. Double Spock is definitely a good thing. And then this is our last box in this series. So this is the Borg box. So there's a ton of Borg in here. So I hope you like Borg, because that's what's coming up. It does also have some interesting cards. It has a bunch of non-affiliated cards for some of the Maquis that would eventually be on Voyager. This is basically both Deep Space Nine, who have Deep Space Nine and Dominion, sort of. So that's their 2-block set, and then Voyager has Voyager and the Borg, which is their 2-block set, and arguably Trouble with Tribbles and Mirror is basically the original series block. So that's that, and then once I'm done with this, then I'll probably end up doing some videos of card types and that kind of thing, and then that can be added to the ubiquitousness that is the YouTube. I'm sure there are no shortage of those kinds of things on YouTube. In fact, there's probably not shortages of the card box thing, but this particular game is probably something that doesn't get opened very much on YouTube. And as I get more boxes, I'll probably end up putting those up too and do those as well. Anyways, live long and prosper. I hope you have a good day. Thank you for supporting the YouTube algorithm. It'd be nice if you liked it. If you got this far, I'd hope that you would like it. Like the video and subscribe if you want. Obviously, I'm a creator I'm here a little bit and then gone usually because I don't get the engagement, and and then I try something else. I think this is the 3rd or 4th different attempt at doing something with this account, so we'll see what it's like. Anyways, you all have a good day. Live long and prosper. Talk to you later.